In that big round building behind Griff yesterday on the House side, the House Republicans made good on a promise from the campaign of Donald Trump.
That's right. They want to make America safe again. They passed 2 bills that crack down on illegal immigration. But Democrats, shockingly and overwhelmingly, seem to side with illegals. The 2 bills, the Sanctuary Cities bill, as well as Kate's Law, and both passing strongly, but almost with exclusive Republican support.
Yeah, look at the numbers. Sanctuary Cities bill, 228 Republicans voted in favor of it to 195 who voted against it. 188 of those who voted against it were Democrats. So you did have some Republicans that were not in favor of it.
Yeah, exactly. So the 2 bills, Kate's Law bill, of course, you know what that is, based on Kate Steinle, who was murdered as she and her father were out on the San Francisco Pier. They were just out for a nice evening, and she wound up dead after an illegal, who had a gun. And there's a million stories about how he got his hands on the gun. Nonetheless, he was in the country illegally. He had been deported a number of times, came back, wound up killing her. The other bill is the Sanctuary Cities bill, which would cut down on federal grants to cities that do not cooperate with ICE.
The timing on this is interesting. I'm sure her parents are thrilled that that passed the House because Kate died 2 years ago tomorrow, anniversary of her death.
But this is denying federal grants to cities that won't cooperate with federal immigration enforcement. That's number one.
With the law.
With the law. Kate's Law, penalties for deported illegals. Steve, you talked about it. He was deported 5 times, had 7 felonies, the criminal that killed Kate Steinle. Yet, if you listen to Democrats on Capitol Hill, we've got sound from one who thought this was a terrible thing, and they were whipping up anti-Mexican fervor. Take a listen.
The Republican Party has had Mexican fever. Russia investigation not going well for the dear leader at the White House? Hey, let's whip out that Mexican thing, as Vice President Pence said. Maybe it will keep our voters happy and distracted. Healthcare not going well? Let's just hate some Mexicans today. This policy is about going after all of us, whether we're citizens or not of the United States of America. These bills are nothing new, and they are not really about fighting crime. They are about racial profiling and putting Latinos, quote unquote, in their place.
The president says that's not at all true, that he's not trying to separate families. It's not about racism. It is about keeping America safe. And if you look at the stats, already ICE has arrested 66,000 illegals this year. Guess how many of those are criminals? 48,000. The majority of them are criminals.
Sure. With all due respect to the congressman, he's absolutely wrong. Clearly, this is simply about enacting the laws of the land that were passed by Congress.
It's about the rule of law, enforcing it simply. So I asked this congressman, are you pro-illegal activity then? Because ultimately that's what it feels like.
So anyway, we thought this is very instructive. When you take a look, because it sets up our next topic, the amount of time the networks covered last night, the various things. And we're going to talk about the Trump tweets in just a minute. But as you can see, look at that. NBC covered the tweets for almost 3 minutes, over 3 minutes at ABC, 2.5 at CBS. The travel ban, which we covered at the beginning of our program, NBC did almost 2 minutes worth, and ABC and CBS about 20 seconds worth. The immigration bills, which are so important, NBC did it for 26 seconds. ABC and CBS, they ran out of time, apparently. They didn't have time to cover that because they were doing so much on the president's tweetage.
Coverage. And 20 seconds on a travel ban as well is a quick news read in the middle of the program. It's almost nothing.
They're more upset, they're more angered over tweets than they are the death of a girl walking on the pier with her father.
And a law that would pass to change it.
Yeah. So anyway, if you missed it, that means you probably weren't watching television yesterday, because the media seemed to melt down. The president of the United States commented about 2 people who make a living insulting him pretty much for 3 hours a day. And it seems like people I was talking to a bunch of people yesterday, they either thought it was horrendous or hilarious, but the elite media, for the most part, thought it was horrendous. Just watch.
President Trump has turned crossing the line into a political art form. But when he lashed out at 2 cable TV hosts this morning.
We begin with President Trump facing the collapse of healthcare negotiations and the North Korean nuclear threat. Instead, tonight sparking condemnation with a pair of venomous tweets about the host of a cable TV news show.
What the president did today was just flat out gross and disgusting. Saying it was juvenile would be insulting to children.
I think it's so blatantly sexist. I don't even know that there's a question about it.
I've gone through, as a member of the Judiciary Committee, impeachments, but we can't wait that long. It is time for you to resign.
Listen, you crazy lunatic 70-year-old man baby, stop it. You are now the President of the United States, the Commander-in-Chief, and you need to stop acting like a mean girl.
Let's stop pretending that Trump is a symptom of something. He's the disease. And the only cure is 3.5 years of liquor and bed rest.
All right, so that's what some of the elite media had to say about it. The tweet came out about 8:50 yesterday morning. We've looked back, tried to figure out what provoked the President of the United States, and it was probably some of this nonstop trashing of the President. Watch.
I think he's such a narcissist. It is possible that he's mentally ill in a way. And this is on the table. It's okay to say he's not well.
No.
At the very least, he's not well. It's sad for the country. This is unprecedented to have a president that behaves this way. It does feel like a developing dictatorship.
Nobody's saying that what Donald Trump's doing now is right. In fact, we think it's extraordinarily dangerous to call the media enemy of the people. It's Stalinist.
If you spend 10 seconds watching that program, you're going to see factless insults. It's unhinged, blinded by Trump hatred. They're happy to use him for ratings before the election, and then once he changes or they don't like what he does, they turn on him like a petulant child and insult, and then they wonder why the world's best counterpuncher says, you know what, it's about time I punch back.
Yeah, well, you're exactly right. That's what Sarah Huckabee Sanders was saying. You know, I personally would have ignored it. I think it's probably wise to ignore all of that. But she did make a good point. She said, as President of the United States, he's a fighter. That's what he does. We know this about him. We know this is his personality. He's going to fight back if someone goes against him. You have Mika saying he's a narcissist. He's mentally ill.
Yeah, it's
you have to respect.
Ill.
You do have to respect our leaders, and you do have to respect the President of the United States.
Sure, absolutely. Look, when you're President of the United States, you don't give up your First Amendment right. Mark Levin had some really good comments last night on Hannity. I think we're going to run that. Watch this. Here's his perspective.
You want him to act presidential? Then you have respect for the office of the president. I'm not saying he should have tweeted that, but it's not the end of the world that he did tweet it either. So the bottom line is MSNBC has a problem. From morning to night, it's the same damn show with different people, different dresses, different suits. It's the same thing. Same with CNN. The only reason CNN has ratings is because every damn airport you go to, it's up there. I don't know what's going on in the bars and everything. CNN is at the airport. You go, well, where's Fox? So I think this has a lot to do about nothing, this tweet. But I think the media have a big problem. Not because of me and you, because the public really hates the media. And they hate the media because they're not getting the facts.
And there you go. And the public understands that a guy's going to react to endless, assaults on not just his presidency and his policies, but his character and who he is and what he represents.
And that is part of his DNA. I mean, as long as he's been in New York City, he's taken some shots from the local press here and now the national press, and he always counterpunched, and boy, did he yesterday.
Let us know what you think, please. Send us your emails. In the meantime,